On February 27, 2025, a federal judge in San Francisco issued a temporary restraining order. The judge, William Alsup, blocked the Trump administration's directive. This directive aimed to fire numerous federal employees, including probationary workers. This ruling is a significant setback for the administration's efforts to reshape the federal workforce. The ruling came after a lawsuit was filed by 5 labor unions and 5 nonprofit organizations. They argued that the firings were unlawful and harmful to the public interest. Judge Alsup agreed, stating that the Office of Personnel Management, or OPM, lacked the authority to order such firings. He emphasized that OPM could not dictate the hiring or firing of employees from other agencies. The impact of this ruling is widespread. It affects several crucial federal agencies, including the Department of Defense, National Park Service, Bureau of Land Management, and the Department of Veterans Affairs. Approximately 200,000 probationary workers across these agencies are now protected from immediate termination. In California alone, this ruling safeguards around 15,000 such workers. Judge Alsup's ruling directly confronts the Trump administration's interpretation of OPM's authority. The administration contends that OPM merely requested agencies to review the fitness of their probationary employees. They argue that these employees, typically with less than a year on the job, lack the job security of permanent employees. Government lawyers have emphasized that only high-performing mission-critical employees should be retained. However, Judge Alsup rejected this argument, stating that OPM's actions exceeded its legal mandate. His ruling casts doubt on the administration's ability to unilaterally shrink the federal workforce. This ruling isn't the first time unions have challenged the Trump administration's approach to federal employment. Similar lawsuits have been filed in the past, but 2 other federal judges ruled in favor of the administration. Judge Alsup's decision, however, marks a significant legal victory for the unions and a potential turning point in this ongoing battle. The lawsuit against the Trump administration alleges that the firings are based on a flawed premise. The plaintiffs, including labor unions and nonprofit organizations, argue that the administration's claims of a bloated and inefficient federal workforce are unsubstantiated. They contend that the firings would cripple essential government services and harm the livelihoods of thousands of dedicated employees. Government lawyers counter that the administration is committed to streamlining the federal government and improving its efficiency. They maintain that reducing the size of the federal workforce is crucial to achieving these goals. The administration views probationary workers as a legitimate target for downsizing, arguing that their termination has a less disruptive impact on government operations. This legal battle reflects a broader ideological divide regarding the role and size of the federal government. The Trump administration's efforts to shrink the federal workforce are in line with its conservative agenda of reducing government spending and intervention. This approach has been met with fierce opposition from Democrats and labor unions, who argue that it undermines vital public services and harms working Americans. Judge Alsup's ruling has immediate and far-reaching implications. It temporarily halts the mass firings of federal workers, providing much-needed relief to thousands of employees facing uncertain futures. The ruling also throws the Trump administration's plans to reshape the federal workforce into disarray. The administration must now reconsider its strategy, potentially facing a protracted legal battle with labor unions. The future of this case remains uncertain. The Trump administration could appeal Judge Alsup's ruling, seeking to overturn the temporary restraining order. The case could ultimately reach the Supreme Court, setting the stage for a landmark decision on the president's authority over the federal workforce. The outcome of this case will have lasting consequences for both the federal government and its employees. It will determine the fate of thousands of federal workers and shape the relationship between the executive branch and the civil service. The ruling serves as a stark reminder of the importance of judicial independence and the rule of law in protecting the rights of workers and ensuring a functioning democracy.